So what I want to get into is this word right here, cheating. When it comes to cheating in relationships, a lot of times people, they really only focus on infidelity. But what I want to do is read to you a summary of the broad definition of cheating.
The truth does not require you to like nor accept it. It can be tough and uncomfortable, existing on its own merit, independent of your feelings and residing outside the frameworks of your mind. For some, the truth is freedom, and to others, confinement.
Cheating is the act of using dishonest, unfair, or deceitful methods to gain an advantage, violate rules, or break trust in relationships. It involves violating established rules, agreements, or expectations to benefit oneself at the expense of others, whether in academics, games, or interpersonal relationships. Why did I bring this up? Well, a lot of times when I look across social media, especially when it comes to women and men, the big thing is cheating, and the thought process is, oh, you cheated on me. You messed with somebody else. We all understand what emotional affairs are and such, but they're talking about physical, like cheating or something involving someone else. I think that thought process is bad for society. Look at it like this. If you go into a relationship, like a lot of women, they go into relationships and they have this mentality that the man is supposed to put forth 100% effort. And then as he puts forth 100% effort, you will give him more of what you feel like he's supposed to have as a woman, or if you're building towards being a wife. That's a thought process. Now, I'm a video gamer. In the video game world, we call it the grind. There's nothing wrong with the grind. What that means is you put in the time and you unlock certain gear, attributes, maybe it's extra suits, whatever. But there's a point in time, even when playing games, that the grind becomes too grindy. There are some games that I played and it just felt like it's a waste of my time. They want me to do too much to get too little, and I'm not here for it. I think that's a dangerous game that a lot of women play and they don't realize it. And here's the truth. Once you see that man is giving you 100% of his effort and his time and his energy, and he is hitting all the marks that you believe that he should be hitting as a partner, or even going into the situation, if your expectation is for that man to give you 100% of what you feel like you deserve as a woman, you are supposed to likewise give him 100% of what he deserves as a man. You understand? So it's a two-way exchange. And I think a lot of times, a lot of women just want it to be one way. They want to hold this over his head. Like he has to prove himself to be a husband, but she doesn't have to prove herself to be a wife. And then, oh, well, if we get engaged, you'll get this. Oh, well, if we get married, then you'll get what you're supposed to get out of me. And that's not how the situation works. A lot of times what happens is men end up feeling cheated. They feel cheated. They end up feeling like they're doing too much for too little. Things that they believe that you should give them up front, they're not getting. And you're not playing a fair game. And whenever you're not playing a fair game, you're doing what? Cheating. Whenever you violate established rules, which means that if he tells you these things, or these things that y'all talked about, your expectations of people in relationships, or expectations to benefit oneself at the expense of others, you are using him until you feel like you got what you wanted. And then your thought process is, I'll return the favor at some point in time. That's not how relationships work. That's not how it goes. If that man is investing in you, you invest in him at an equal rate. It's not even that women don't understand this concept, because a lot of times when women physically cheat on men, it might not be because that man cheated on them first, but they'll say things like, I was investing my time, I was investing my energy. He wasn't respecting my boundaries. He wasn't respecting me as a person. He didn't listen to me. I felt like I was doing way more to him. They felt, in so many words, cheated. They felt cheated, so they cheated on him. They cheated on him because they felt cheated. They felt like they were giving way too much of themselves and not getting it back. And so they got tired and they went out, and the feeling of being cheated manifested into cheating. So when I talk to women, what I want them to understand is sometimes with men, I'm not saying all the time, but there's a lot of situations with men when the physical manifestation of cheating comes from a place of feeling cheated. Now, it might be easy for you to say, why didn't you do this or why didn't you do that? Well, likewise, we could say the same thing for women, but then that would be too close to what y'all call what? Victim blaming. When I start questioning your thought process and why you didn't do this and why you didn't do that. So we got to keep it fair. Let's say you go to work and you perform a job or a service for someone and they only give you 60% of your money. You gave them 100% of your effort. You did the job 100% the way they asked you to. They gave you 60% of the money that you earned. You're going to feel what? Cheated. So once you feel cheated, you may do what? Retaliate. And there are a lot of ways you can handle feeling cheated. You can go to police. You can file a complaint. You can just talk it up to experience and quit and go find another job. But a lot of times that's not how life works, because when people feel cheated, they want retribution and they want it from that person. Because even if they're going to walk out the door, they want you to feel what they feel. They want you to feel what they feel. And if you are the type person that doesn't really care if that person starts slacking off or not paying attention to this or treating you different, because sometimes people use that to validate the fact that they never gave 100%. I knew it. I knew you was going to end up like this. It's like, no, I ended up like this because I came into this situation giving 100%. And then I realized that you were not doing the same for me. You were not doing the same for me. When you're in that environment, you're listening to what I'm saying. I'm talking from the heart. When you're in that environment, you have to be fair. If going into the situation, like I said, your expectation is for him to prove to himself that he is a husband or husband material, if your expectation is for him to give you 100% of his effort or his time or his energy, or to respect your wishes, respect how you want to be treated and everything else, then you are to do the same. See, a lot of times when we think about do unto others as you would have them do unto you, or treat people how you want to be treated, we misinterpret it. Treat people how you want to be treated does not mean treat them how you want to be treated. You want to be treated how you prefer to be treated according to your thoughts, ideals, and principles. So you should treat them according to how they want to be treated, according to their thoughts, ideas, and principles. It's like having a manual to something. This car is this car, that car is that car. They have two different manuals. You cannot fix this car with the manual for that car. There may be certain things that you can do because they have it in common, but they are two different cars. Even if they're made by the same company, it's two different cars. So they have two different manuals. You have your own manual. That person has their own manual. When you talk to them, they're going to give you their manual. They're going to tell you how to talk to them, how to treat them, what their expectations are, what they want. Your job is to honor that, acknowledge it and honor it the same way you want them to acknowledge it and honor you. That's what it means when it says treat people how you want to be treated. So going into a situation, if your expectation is for this man to give you 100% and to treat you like a wife and to prove to you that he is worthy of marriage, then your job is to do the exact same thing the way that he wants. You want him to hit your marks. That means you need to hit his marks. A lot of times in situations, especially women, they want a man to hit their marks and then they want to hit what they feel like are his marks. And they want to hit his marks their way. They want to do it their way. And when you do it, you're doing what? You're cheating. You're trying to cheat the system. You're trying to game the system. What I realize is that a lot of people, this isn't even specific to women, but a lot of times that's how they go into situations. They want low risk, high reward relationships. Low risk, high reward relationships. And that's just not how it works. You have to be honest with yourself. You really do. You got to be honest with yourself. You want a low risk, high reward relationship. You want somebody to put in weight because you're trying to minimize what you're putting out and maximize what you get back. Minimize output, maximize input. And what you don't realize is going into situations, the same way you might feel like you want to be withdrawn or not give 100% because the last time I gave 100% to a man, or I did this or I did that, it blew up in my face. Well, that was him. That's not this guy. You don't think that man has his own past. You don't think that man has his own experiences to draw upon and reasons why he could say, I don't want to go into this situation giving this woman 100% of my energy or my efforts because it blew up in my face. No, you expect him to have dealt with that and be ready to take those risks again when he involves himself with you. So likewise, you have to be willing to take those same risks. And if you lose, you lose. That's the gamble that you play. If you lose, you lose. But sometimes people lose not because they were destined to lose, but because they didn't go all the way in. They put themselves in a losing situation. If you play on a team and everybody is giving 100% effort, and then you realize this person's giving 50% effort, you feel cheated. You got a group assignment and you got 2 people that loafed off and 3 people that did all the work, but you get the same grade. You're going to feel cheated. You're going to feel they don't deserve what you got because they didn't put in the work. So you got to put in the work. Sometimes cheating starts with reservation when you are trying to reserve yourself because you want to save your feelings. And in doing that, you are actually impacting their feelings because their feelings might start here, but over time, it's going to start to dwindle down. It's going to start to dwindle down. So don't always look at the physical manifestation of cheating. That's for men and women. Don't always look for the physical manifestation of cheating, but look at how you may be cheating the person you're with through your efforts and your energy in the way you move and not treating them how they wish to be treated as you want to be treated the way you wish to be treated. Because in so many situations, that little seed, physical cheating, that's like the volcano eruption. That's the big thing, the big shebang. A lot of times before it even gets to that point, for a lot of people, it starts with the little ways that people cheat. The little ways that people cheat. It's like those businesses. Some people might go in and try to take $100,000 from their business overnight. Very obvious. Some people, they overcharge customers by a couple of cents, a dollar here, a dollar there. It all adds up to the same amount over time, whether you took 100,000 overnight or took 100,000 over the course of 5 years. But what I'm saying is that's how some people are in relationships. They're smart enough not to do the obvious cheating, so they do all the small cheating, the things that matter, until it triggers that person. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to think about yourself. I want you to think about how you conduct yourselves in relationships. I want you to think about cheating and what it really means and how you are affecting yourself in your relationships, how you are affecting yourself in life, and how the physical cheating that you may get at the end of something may have just been the manifestation of all the little ways that you were cheating someone through, once again, violating established rules, agreements, or expectations to benefit oneself at the expense of others, whether in academics, games, or interpersonal relationships. So what was that? The act of using dishonest, fair, or deceitful methods to gain an advantage, violate rules, or break trust in relationships. That's what cheating is. So we have to look at it as a whole and not just infidelity because we've been trained to look at it like that. It's time for us to start being honest.